Hi everybody, it's Miss Mary again from MidPointe in Middletown, and I've got a fun MidPointe Maker for us. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up pretty quickly, and I thought it might be fun to have some fancy decorations for the table. So we have one that the kids might like making, and a little trickier one for older kids or grown-ups. Are you ready? Let's make the kids one first. For this project, you'll need a cardboard roll, toilet paper roll, paper towel roll, whatever you like. I cut mine to, I took a paper towel roll and I cut it in half and then in half again. So I got 4 of them out of one paper towel roll, because you're probably going to want to make multiples of these. So for this one, I used a paper towel roll section and some paper. I used cardstock, but regular paper will work just fine, and some crayons or colored pencils, something like that. It's really pretty easy. Are you ready? All right. So first, with my paper towel roll, I wanted to cover it so it doesn't look, here, let me show you. I didn't want it for the brown part to show. So I cut my paper in kind of like a half circle to make that tail section. Now, I didn't measure this. I just kind of faked it and figured it out as I went. Because, you know, who remembers the rule of crafts with Miss Mary? There is no wrong way, and the right way is however you choose to do it. Right? Right. So I've got this half circle. I just took a piece of paper, folded it in half, cut out a half circle. That's this back part. And then for the front part, well, I'll be honest, I just kind of eyeballed it for that one. Okay? So I took my roll and my piece of paper, and I wrap it around. Do you see? To make sure that there's plenty to go around it, but you don't want it to overlap too much, right? Because then you have a whole lot of extra. Again, I'm just kind of making this one up as I go along. That's the best way to know there's no wrong way, right? Okay. So I'm going to use my glue stick. Now, you might want to use Scotch tape when you get started, just to get the things placed, just so. But I'm going to put this little bit of glue on here. And of course, you can use school glue if you have some of that around. I prefer glue stick because it's a little bit less messy. And I'm really good at messy. Maybe you are too, I don't know. So we'll put some glue on there and just roll that around. And then after I have it attached, I'll trim it up a little bit. And again, I'm going to say to all the grown-ups out there, if the child's craft looks absolutely perfect, like you found it on Etsy or Pinterest or something, that means the child didn't do it. Let your kid do it. Let your kid make it, you know, have goofy looking parts hanging off and looking silly. That's okay. That's what kids do. And trust me, when the kids are older, you'll really like it that way. All right? So we've got that glued on pretty well. I'm going to hold that tight while it sets. And then I say, well, I've got all this goofy shape, and I want to make it look like that turkey head. So I'm just going to kind of fake it. All right? And you will find the way that works for you. You might like that turkey head shape. You might want to do it a little bit differently. Number 1 rule, we're back to it again. There is no wrong way. The right way is how you do it. Okay? So that's a little rough there, so I'm going to round out those corners a bit. Okay? Now, you might find that it's easier to draw that shape on a piece of paper and cut it out. That's also a good way for your kids to practice their scissor skills. All right? You know what I should have done first? I probably should have colored it first. That's another thing you might want to do, but that's okay. You can do it now. No wrong way. So I've got my crayons ready. You could use colored pencils. You could use markers, whatever you want to do. And you color that turkey body in. Now, I just went straight for brown. What color do you think a turkey body should be? Would you make it yellow, green, red, orange? How about purple? Oh, I'd love to see some purple turkeys. Somebody, you know what? You make purple turkeys? I want to see those pictures posted down there in the comments. Okay? So I've got that colored, however, really, I'm just kind of making it up here. You can see that I spent a lot of time on this fancier one. Okay, put some eyeballs on there. Don't forget a beak. We'll do that in orange. How about? And you know that red thing that hangs down off the turkey's beak? I can never remember what the official name is. We always used to call it a gobbler. So we'll draw one of those on there. So there we've got a turkey body. We still need to do some tail. So I'll set that over there, let that glue dry a bit. Now with this half circle, you can do a couple different things. You can color each feather individually. But wait a minute, this is only one. How are we going to make this multiple feathers? I'm going to fold that in half and just cut some feathers. Do it how you like. Do some big ones, do some little ones. You make it the way you want it to be. All right. And there, we've got some feathers. How should we color them? Again, I only got these autumn looking colors. But we can put some bright red. What do you think? You think that looks good? Put that all over here. Have you ever seen a turkey in the wild? I have a couple times. There's a neighborhood not too far from my house where there are turkeys hanging around all the time. I don't know where they live, but you always see them walking around in people's neighborhoods. It's kind of funny. But I have to be honest, I've never looked at them closely enough to see exactly what color they are. Now when you do these tail sections, again, you do it however you want to. Use whatever colors you think would look good. Oh, you know what you could do? What might be fun? If you know who's going to be at your Thanksgiving dinner, you know what you could do? You could write their names on the feathers. So I think I will make this one for my son Will. So I'm going to write his name. Hey, adults, there's a way for your youngster to practice writing their letters. Okay, I wrote that on there, and I'm going to add some more shading over here, a little bit of yellow. All right, so I've got my turkey tail and my turkey body. I'm going to put some glue. Again, you can use glue stick or liquid glue, whatever you think would work best. Plop that on there, stick that body on, and now my boy Will has a nice little napkin ring. So we'll take the napkin and we will slide that inside there, and we'll put that at his place at the table. And doesn't that look fancy? Kind of nice, huh? Gobble, gobble, gobble. All right. While the kids are finding their crayons and their colored pencils and their whatnot, grown-ups, let's work on a slightly fancier one. What do you say? So for this one, isn't he cute? For this one, you're going to need a few different materials. Again, we're going to start with the cardboard roll, a paper towel roll. Like I said, I cut it into 4 even sections, and that size worked really well. So I used that. I have some felt. I used brown and red because that's what I have handy. But again, use whatever colors you like. I also used some pipe cleaners. And you know, no craft is complete without googly eyes, right? I mean, come on. That's what's important in life is googly eyes. The folks behind me are laughing right now. Okay. Oh, and a hot glue gun. Now, you might remember that I have a bad history with hot glue guns, so I'm going to be careful, and I am not going to burn myself this time. I want you to make that same promise that you're not going to burn yourself. Okay? Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is cover our cardboard roll. I went ahead and put red paper on this one, but you could use red felt or brown felt, whatever color you want, your project, and whatever you have around the house. Now for this face, you see I've got the big red circle and then the smaller brown one. I'm going to make 2 of the bigger circles, and I'm going to do those in red. Now, you might be very skilled at tracing or drawing circles. Not me. I always have to trace something. I just have to. So on my red felt, I'm going to trace 2 of these circles. 1, 2, and cut those out. And I'm also going to cut a brown circle. I'm going to use the red circles as kind of almost like a sandwich with the pipe cleaners in between. Now I want Oreos. Okay, I always want Oreos. So I'm going to cut these circles. Do they need to be perfect and smooth? No, they do not. Would it be nice if they were? Well, sure, you're a grown-up. You probably want your project to look like it came on Pinterest. Newsflash, mine never looked like that. And what a great opportunity to teach your kids that perfect is what comes from the heart, not what comes from the hands. All right. I just made that one up. That sounded pretty good, didn't it? I like that one. My friends who are sitting behind me are laughing because I keep talking nonstop. Pfft, like they didn't expect that from me. Okay, so we've got our 2 red circles. Now with the pipe cleaners, again, use whatever colors you want. I have a pretty bland looking autumn colored turkey guy going here. Okay, I brought some purple along. That guy's got some green and orange. But I found with a regular length pipe cleaner, I just cut it in half, give or take, right about half. Nobody's gonna check. And if they do, well, have fun, y'all. This is probably more than I need, but what the heck? We'll be ready. So, cut your pipe cleaners in half and loop them so it kind of is a teardrop shape, all right? And I gave it a little twist or two to keep it locked in place. So take your half pipe cleaner, twist it, teardrop shape, twist it a couple times. And you can make them nice and rounded or very angular. We could give our turkey a bad feather day instead of a bad hair day. Let's see. I could make it go, you know, kind of crazy sticking out. Maybe not. So you'll want to make some of these. I think that 8 is a good number. You might have a turkey that has more feathers or fewer based on what you've got hanging around the house and what you feel like doing. So I'm making these teardrop shapes and giving them a little bit of a twist. And I keep moving my hands out of the camera range. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not used to this. I'm not a movie star, you know. It comes as a shock to everyone, I can tell. All right. So I have 2 red circles of felt. I have a bunch of pipe cleaner tail feathers. And now we're going to glue those down. Please be careful with your hot glue gun. I don't want you to get hurt. I really, really, really don't want you to get hurt. Okay? So, grown-ups only. Take the hot glue gun, and I'm going to make a little, almost like a smiley face here at the bottom. And then I'm just going to glob a whole bunch on because I'm really not sure quite what to expect. All right. Without touching the glue, I'm going to stick my tail feathers in there. They don't have to be all flat because, you know, probably don't want them to be real flat. Okay. Stick those in there. Notice that I'm just sticking the bottom part into the glue. That little twisty part from my teardrop. You know that little smiley guy down there? He's there for a reason. That smiley bit there at the bottom is so that I can attach the 2 pieces of red felt together. I'm going to add a little bit more down there and a little bit more glue on top of the ends of the tail feathers. Okay, and that was probably hard to see where my glue gun was going. But I have a circle or a line of glue here and a glob, and then I also put glue up here on top of those feathers so that when I put the felt, the second felt on, it makes it like our sandwich. Remember, Oreos, yum. I'm touching carefully and sparingly so I don't burn my fingers, ouch. Okay, all right, So there we have a turkey body. We still need a turkey face. So I'm going to cut out, and we're going to let that sit over there and cool before I burn myself. I need a smaller circle of the brown felt. So I have my exciting MidPointe Slinky. Do you have one of those? All the cool kids have them. Anything round of a different size will work. You, I'm sure, have all kinds of rounds around your house. Or maybe you are skilled enough that you can actually cut out a circle without tracing it. Please teach me your ways. All right. And I'm gonna cut that guy out. Cut out my circle. So I've learned that if you do burn yourself with the hot glue, golly, it hurts. But it, you know, put on some burn ointment and a Band-Aid and it'll be fine before you know it. This is the voice of experience, y'all. Okay, so now I have my brown, kind of like a circle shape. And I want to make a face on there. You know what I did not bring with me was a bright piece of yellow paper or yellow felt like that. Well, fortunately, I have some yellow paper right here. So we're going to use this as our little triangle-y guy. Right? Like that, right? And a pair of eyeballs. I got great big gigantic eyes for this one because, wow, that turkey is freaking out. And that little red gobbler thing, I still don't know what that thing's called. We're just gonna call it a gobbler. That's what my grade school teacher used to call it, and she was right about everything else, so we're gonna assume she's right about this one too. Because grown-ups are always right, right? Ha ha, no, but we try. Okay. So, I just realized I did all that cutting outside of the screen. Y'all should be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got our turkey body. We've got the ring for your fancy cloth napkin to go into. Isn't that nice? Fancy, fancy, we're very fancy. Maybe if we're lucky that the lady who takes care of this film will just put out my voice and put music on instead. You think that would be fun? La, 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 la. Okay, so we're gonna glue this stuff down. I'm using a glue stick because it's what I have handy, because I forgot to bring the regular liquid glue with me. I'm just telling you, a glue stick is really not a good choice on felt, okay? I'm gonna use it because that's what I have. And I'm not getting near the glue gun again, if I can avoid it. But there we go. So we have our little beak and our little gobbler and our eyeballs. Now, I always have googly eyes around. I don't know about you. Googly eyes, I think, make life better. So I always have some, and these are the kind that are sticky on the back. Or maybe they're not. Googly eyes are good, or you could draw eyes on, or maybe cut them out of your other color felt, or whatever you want to do. Look at me getting dangerous with the hot glue gun. Woohoo! We're gonna put some eyeballs on there. Eyeball 1, eyeball 2. Now that's a fun looking turkey. Okay, maybe it's a crazy looking turkey. Now it's time for a whole lot of gluing. Are you ready, friends? We're gonna put all this stuff together. Gonna put some glue on this body and attach the head to it, the face. Plunk, okay? And then we're gonna get that roll and we're going to attach the turkey. I'm putting the glue on the back of this because I don't want that roll to roll around and then get glued to the table, and then boy will I be in trouble. And just glue it right on there like that. Now you probably see some icky purple stuff here. That's because I used a glue stick. Don't use a glue stick. Glue sticks don't work for this. All right? And there you have a lovely napkin ring for you to put your napkins in at Thanksgiving. All right? Maybe if you make several of these, you can give them some personality to match who they're for. You know, a really wacky one for Uncle Bill and a very serious one for Uncle John and what have you. So here we have napkin rings made by kids and by grown-ups. And there you go. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, well, find a way to adapt this craft to your favorite holiday meal. All right? Be sure to check back next time for more MidPointe Makers, and follow us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those things the kids use. We've got all kinds of fun stuff for you from MidPointe. All right? Thanks, everybody. See you next time.